Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Victorious Ones podcast, the place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, meets movies, as well as inspiration. Of course, I'm your host, King Von Jr. You can follow me on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. You can follow me on Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. And I'm also a social media producer for Perfect Plex Talk for Unpopular Reviews wrestling show Perfect Plex Talk Radio, hosted by Mike Knox at 6 p.m. And so of course, like I said, I definitely want to dive into the upcoming topics that we have. I mean, this week has not has not fallen short of anything exciting or spectacular. It's really noteworthy. You know what I mean? And so of course, recently I had a conversation interview with Kelsey Nicole Nelson, as we did a Super Bowl recap, by the way. Like I said, it was a great interview. It was tremendous. But I know that of course, as far as this past weekend, there's another short of of any highlights. Of course, first and foremost, like I said, a great weekend. Finished a walk through the Bible class, for the New Testament over my church. I mean, I thought it was, like I said, it was great. It was great. It was very engaging, very exciting. And I appreciate all the congratulations from everyone. Thank you very much. And also, I also got a chance to see the Bob Marley story, the Bob Marley movie. You know what I mean? And so I like the way that story was told. You know what I mean? It's definitely one of the better biopics that I've seen. You know what I mean? So like it ranks, kind of hard to tell, but I definitely like the depiction and portrayal of Bob Marley, especially anytime his family co-signed it. So it's just like pretty much it was what it was. I would say so far that's been the best movie I've seen so far in these first 2 months of 2024. But yeah, like I said, as far as that, and also I also going to get into All-Star Weekend, which happened this past weekend as well. Also I did go to this really cool dessert festival in DC. Shout out to Dessert Festival 2024. It did not disappoint whatsoever. I look forward to them doing even more in the future. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I said, as far as that, like I said, some of the main things I definitely want to tackle. Like I said, just so much when it comes to wrestling, as well as, like I said, especially when it came to the All-Star Weekend. Of course, once again, this is a show that covers a variety of topics, and so I'm going to keep the same energy. I don't know when I'm going to talk about it. It's going to be sometime in this episode, but yeah, like I said, I mean, just the way the All-Star game went, I'm like really. I mean, like I said, I've definitely seen better in more ways than one. But yeah, so like I said, as far as I'm going to talk about SmackDown, talk about Raw, talk about NXT, I'm going to give my Elimination Chamber predictions as well, and and just dive deeper when it comes to this whole Rock with the Bloodline, Rock with the Bloodline situation. And so it's just like, kind of like as the world turns, sort of like, it's almost more like as the Rock turns. That might be the other, like the title of the episode at this point. But, it's just so many different like twists and turns, and mainly because of the fact that, that the WWE has had to call an audible, just because of the outrage and because of the backlash that went on, that went on because of the initial plan of having Rock versus Roman, and like I said, just the outrage, and also, of course, another thing I want to say, for those that are watching that want to watch by way of YouTube, go to youtube.com/@VonWrestlerJr. And I definitely appreciate it. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more episodes, for more content, and also for those that are watching by way of Facebook Live. Um, like there's if you want to leave a comment, if you want your name to be seen as you leave a comment, please make sure to click that StreamYard link and agree to allow Facebook to to display your name. You know what I mean? So as they say, give Mark Zuckerberg permission to to show your name during the broadcast. And so yeah, you know what I mean, pretty much, like that. That's, let's see, hold on. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah. So but yeah, like I said, when it came to the week of wrestling, as far as far as SmackDown, so SmackDown definitely came out swinging, and and they certainly did not disappoint whatsoever, and especially with the main highlight of this specifically, especially with The Rock, with The Rock officially aligning himself with the Bloodline, and with that $500 vest shirt. That's what whatever it is. It reminded me of of old school People's Champ Rock, Attitude Era Rock, mixed with Hollywood Rock. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm definitely gonna get some more on that in a minute. But but of course, first, one of the things I like to do always is to, like I said, is to give the recap of the show, and then of course provide my what I would consider to be the other highlight. And so of course, as far as like I said, as far as the highlights, this was as far as the results. Kevin Owens defeated Dirty Dominic Mysterio to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Right. So after that, we see Tiffany Stratton defeat Zelina Vega, Queen Zelina, to qualify for the Women's Elimination Chamber herself. Of course, shout out to Tiffy time. AOP defeated Javier Bernal and Bo Morris. Then we see Logan Paul defeat The Miz to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And we also see Naomi defeat Alba Fire to qualify for the Women's Elimination Chamber. Of course, we see Nick Aldis announce that Braun Breaker has signed with SmackDown. So Braun has officially made his decision. He will sign with SmackDown. So of course, that's the future of WWE right there. Glad to see this made his decision. And last but not least, the biggest highlight of SmackDown, not just the week itself, was The Rock officially aligning himself with the Bloodline. And so of course, this is great. Like I said, to see is a combination of Attitude Era, People's Champ Rock mixed with Hollywood Rock, and and just really just heel Rock. Just him really in his element. Like always, and for him to just roast Utah, to go on Utah, and say they have syphilis, all that, whatever it is, and like they don't deserve The Rock and all this and stuff like that, and calling out the Cody crybabies once again, of course. And so, of course, I like how he said, if you smell what the Bloodline is cooking. And it reminded me of when The Rock aligned himself with the Nation Domination and how they all put up the fist. And it was in the same format. But one of the most glaring things about this was that, The Rock put up an L instead of just a regular one. So there's a lot to unpack with that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and as a matter of fact, one of the things that we talked about Monday on Perfectplex was, can The Rock be trusted? You know what I mean? And so and also, like I said, the fact that there's no way that The Rock didn't know how to put up the one. There's just something about this. There's got to be more than that. And he was saying that that the story with Cody is ending, but meanwhile he talked to Roman and said, meanwhile, our story is just beginning. And then, like I say, then that's when it goes into if you smell with the bloodline, and also he did, the thing where where he said the same sing along with the Rock, whatever, like to shut the fans down. But then he goes on to say, if you smell what the bloodline is cooking instead of what the Rock is cooking, the bloodline is cooking. So of course they stand unified. And of course Roman, Heyman, and Solo, they all put up the ones. The Rock puts up the one with, with the thumb sticking out, or at least looking like an L. And Jimmy, and another thing that Knox pointed out on Monday is that Jimmy, when he put up the one, it was on the left. He's the left hand, not the right, and so there's a little, lots of, like I said, just more than meets the eye, but like I said, it's just like, just a matter of time to see how this unfolds, what I mean, like just how this manifests into, into the bigger story. And so, I mean, as I said over and over, like I said, pretty much if I've said it once, I'll say it over and over again, is that the real story, the bigger story, is ultimately, like I said, is ultimately Rock versus Roman. And so, so I guess it's another layer of, of this bloodline saga. I feel as though this is the ninth inning, if you will, the bottom of the ninth, right? And instead of what the top of the third or bottom of the third, whatever Heyman was talking about, I feel as though this is the bottom of the ninth when it comes to this bloodline story, because this is a culmination. This is the end game. Anytime The Rock is involved, because The Rock is the original head of the table. He's the original tribal chief, right? You know what I mean? So as a matter of fact, he set the table for Roman. You know what I mean? So Rock was was already in tribal chief mode way back in the Attitude Era. You know what I mean? Like, for him to be the face of the Anwani family, the most successful member of the group. As a matter of fact, to think about it, that's quite a discussion right there. Who are the top 10 members of the Anwani family, right? So of course, in that aspect, you look at Rock number one, Roman number two. Should you say Usos a third? Wild Samoans a fourth? No, actually, no. I'll say Rock, Roman, Usos, Yoko at three, Usos at four, Wild Samoans at five, Keisha six, Peter Maivia at seven, Maga 8, Nia number 9. Whatever you mean, like it's a lot to unpack, especially like and see. That's why when Cody was talking about the royal family and all this type of stuff, and the Anawanis, I've said before, and I will say it over and over again. The real, I'll say like this honestly, the real wrestling dynasty, talking about royal family, is the Anawani family. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to this stuff, and Cody barely even scratches the surface when it comes to that, right? And so, yeah, like I said, it's just like I said, it's just so much more to like I said, just so much more to unpack and really to dive into and to dissect when it comes to like I said, just when it comes to what angle the Rock is coming from. You know what I mean? So of course, the Rock is all about, like I said, all about the long term, the end game. And so this is his definition of what this end game is going to look like. It's very intriguing, especially with the WWE. As I've said before, has had to call an audible, has had to improvise, and so I will say this, that without question, The Rock certainly has a chip on his shoulder. But it has a chip on his shoulder, especially with the with the way that the fans revolted against the idea of him versus Roman. But this is the idea that the Rock has had for the longest time as far as the program with Roman. As a matter of fact, Reigns himself at the press conference specifically picked The Rock. You know what I mean? And it's just like like I said, the thing about The Rock on Friday is that he certainly had more than just a vengeance. I mean, this guy had a vendetta, and for obvious reasons, anytime that you go after his daughter on Twitter, and she had nothing to do with this whatsoever. The fact that Ava had to had to deactivate her account was insane. It's ridiculous. It just goes to show that like it's just another element of the toxicity of the IWC. You know what I mean? And it was just unnecessary. It was inappropriate. It was completely ridiculous. And so you know what I mean? As far as that, I'm like, come on, like this wouldn't even work. It's just gone way too far. And so but the thing is, like I said, the Rock leaned all the way into the Hollywood Rock Hill persona, and like I said, from the going on fans, but also one has to wonder and be concerned if whether or not the Rock is going to turn on Roman, cost him the title, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So especially when you look at the Rock's track record when it comes to factions, it's not all that great. Because if you look at how he was with the Nation domination, right? And the night of WrestleMania, when he gave Farouk the rock bottom and kicked him out the group and said the Rock is not only the leader of the Nation domination, but he's the ruler of the Nation domination. I wouldn't be surprised if history repeats itself in this aspect, because anytime the Rock is around, Roman is like the little brother. By default, Roman takes the back seat. Like I said, and even though Roman is his own franchise type of guy, he's another alpha figure himself. Someone who can carry the company. At the same time, because the Rock's shadow is so enormous, is so large, like I say, anybody, including Roman, ends up having to, be delegated to the side. The little brother of that equation. Even though Roman has had a far longer reign than any of the Rock's title reigns, right? It is one of the longest reigns in WWE history. And so it's very intriguing, it's very fascinating how this is going to spill over into WrestleMania. Like I said, whether Cody's going to finish the story or Roman is going to retain the title and break that record, break Hogan's record to become, Terry's record to become the longest reigning champion of the WrestleMania era. Right. So so all those factors are definitely coming in, and so now it's time to move on to Monday night when it comes to Monday Night Raw, and so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So of course, like I said, I'm going to Monday Night Raw, and when I say when they open up the show, they did not disappoint whatsoever. The show opened up with Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. It was certainly a great match in itself. Just as Cody was going for the crossroads, history repeats itself, where Solo gets on the apron with the hoodie and spikes Cody with his thumb, and of course because of that, of course because of that, Drew McIntyre was able to capitalize for the W. You know what I mean? So if anything, like I said, this match was absolutely stellar. And then, so of course, like I said, the action of itself was great. And so of course, Drew McIntyre, Cody trade strikes. Of course, Cody it's a power bomb, and then also just disaster kick. But after that, McIntyre still kicks out. And Drew kicks out, and he even kicked out of the Cody cutter. And so, of course, as Cody sets up the crossroads, like I said, McIntyre needs his way out of it, and Cody lands a clothesline that sends both of them over the rope. After the break, Cody runs to a spine buster from Drew. And of course, he kicks out. McIntyre, it's a set up power bomb. Obviously, Cody kicks out of 2 on that one again. Of course, calls for the Claymore kick. Cody counters with a super kick. And of course, Drew escapes a pedigree and slow down. And of course, this is where Cody counters the future shot DT and hits a pedigree of his own. And so of course, as he's trying to go for the Cody cutter, McIntyre hits him with a glass skull kiss, and of course a future shock DT. Cody kicks out of that one as Drew goes up to the top. He only gets shut down by Cody. Of course he goes for a superplex, and then of course it's a super Cody cutter, whatever. Drew kicks out again as he goes for the crossroads. Jimmy Uso runs down the ring, and Rhodes knocks Jimmy off the apron, and then he tries for the crossroads again. This time, which, as I said before, history repeats itself. Where Solo appears out of nowhere and it's Cody with a smaller spike, and so of course that leads up for Drew hitting Cody with the Claymore for the win. Like I said, you won by pinfall, Drew McIntyre. And of course, we have a 19 women Elimination Chamber last chance battle royal. The winner of that is Raquel Rodriguez. After that, of course we see the R-Truth, Miz, and DIY versus Judgment Day. Of course the winners of the Judgment Day. And of course we have an in-ring segment. Segment from Becky Lynch. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to backtrack from that. Like I said, after Raquel Gonzalez won the last chance Elimination Chamber Women's Battle Royal, we see an interview segments between Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax, and so it's just like Rhea was able to get in Nia's head and just had her fuming, like just furious, like she was plotting and scheming her next move, like she was waiting to attack, and she certainly attacked it at the perfect time. But of course, in between that time, we have Judgment Day defeat R-Truth, Miz, and DIY. It's funny, R-Truth called DIY DX, Gargano, Shawn Michaels, and Ciampa, Triple H. That was pretty funny. And then of course we see the in-ring segment from Becky Lynch, and she's in the ring with the other participants of the Elimination Chamber, including Naomi, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Time herself, Tiffany Stratton, and Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Rodriguez. My bad. So of course with that, like I said, I definitely like the segment. I thought it was great. But then, and of course, in the middle of it, everyone starts to argue. A fight breaks out, brawl breaks out. Of course, this is when Nia Jax hits the ring and crushes everybody, including the women's champion herself, Rhea Ripley. So of course, Nia sent a message to everybody like, look, I cannot be stopped. I am the irresistible, not only irresistible force, but I'm more of the immovable object in this situation, right? And so, so of course, Nia definitely make sure to, make sure we leave a statement, leave a mark. So of course, after that, we see Shinsuke Nakamura challenge Sami Zayn to a match next week on Raw, and of course, we have Chad Gable versus Ivar, and winner of that match, Chad Gable. Of course, backstage, we see Drew McIntyre bragging about being the second person to pin Cody Rhodes. And then, of course, in the main event of Raw for the Intercontinental Championship, you have Gunther versus Jey Uso. And as Gunther's been the IC champion, obviously, obviously for more than 600 days. So, of course, Jey Uso wants to let it be known that he's going to end Gunther's title reign. So of course they go nose to nose. They go nose to nose. Gunther much as Jey Uso. Jey slaps Gunther, and of course Gunther hits Jey with the boot to the face. Jey walks into Jay walks to what a harsh, just like a massive chop, from Gunther, one of his signature chops anyway. You know what I mean? So of course Gunther chokes him on the top rope. Jay gets out the ring. Gunther suplexes Jay on the barricade. Then of course after that, Jay gets on his feet. Gunther suplexes Jay on the ring apron. And of course, after that, we see Gunther continue to go to go on his assault, to go off on Jay. And so, of course, the fight continues in the ring. Jay lands a suplex, and of course, also Samoan drops Gunther on the commentary desk. Then Gunther avoids a spear. Jay lands a combination. Gunther counters with the hip attack with shotgun drop kick and powerbomb by Gunther as Jay kicks out. And so of course with that, it's like looks like the tide starting to change. You see Gunther hit Jay with the lariat, only for Jay to kick out, and they push Jay in the Boston Crab. Jay escapes, and he sends Gunther out to the ring, hits him with a suicide dive. And so, of course, by this point, Jay Uso's got his second win, and only for that to be shut down with a chop. And then, of course, Jay escapes a powerbomb. Of course, Gunther avoids Jay's spear, and then Jay hits the ropes and finally hits the spear, only for Gunther to kick out. So of course it goes. Of course, yes. So of course it's going to the top rope like he usually does. Gunther cuts him off and hits him with a suplex. And so of course Gunther showing more and more why he's the ring general, why he is pretty much the quintessential sort of like an in-ring worker, if you will. You know what I mean? Like I say, I'm a huge fan of his when it comes to technician standpoint, without question. And so of course he kicks out of Gunther's top rope splash, which is very rare for somebody like Gunther's size to do. And then he his Gunther with 5 spears, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spears in a row. You know what I mean? Gunther is a world leader. He is a real life colossus. Meanwhile, he doesn't move. And then Jay his Uso splash as the ref is counting. This is where things take a turn for worse. So as the referee is counting, Jimmy rings the bell. So of course Jay takes Jimmy out with the dive. Gunther locks Jay in the neck choke. Jay flips around, turns into a pin. Only Gunther to kick out. And then Jay goes for another Uso splash, but this time Gunther counters and gets his knees up, only to roll Jay into a pin for the win. And so, of course, the winner and still your Intercontinental Champion, the Ring General Gunther. And so after the match, this is the official setup for WrestleMania 40. Jimmy attacks Jay, and Jimmy just crushes Jay with 2 Uso splashes, and it continues to remind him, you may be more popular, but never forget I'm the big brother. That kind of thing. So of course, I feel, of course, obviously the battle lines, the drawings, and certainly the officially going to be set. Jimmy versus Jay at WrestleMania 40. Spy versus Spy. Of course, for those that were watching Mad TV, you've heard, you've seen the Spy versus Spy cartoon. That's pretty much what Jay versus Jimmy's going to be at WrestleMania 40. Mirror image of each other, right? And so, yeah, you know what I mean. So of course, this is another big match to set up for Mania, and I feel as though if anything, they're certainly well deserving of a Mania match, considering their history, considering obviously their brothers. Will they have a Brett versus Owen caliber match? Not sure, but it's certainly like I say, it's enough to when it comes to this greater storyline. There's only a matter of time before before the paths will cross, before worlds collide. So now we have Jay versus Jimmy at WrestleMania 40. Next up, we have NXT, and in the opening match, Obafemi annihilates Lexus King, you know, and you know, it's just like, I mean, like I said, it was a slaughter. It was straight destruction. Like I said, your winner is still your NXT North American champion, the Nigerian Thanos himself, as he called himself on Twitter, Obafemi. You know, and so of course after that, you see Roxanne Perez defeat Brent Sinclair, and Roxanne Perez is definitely tapped into, you know, more of an angry side, more of a heel side. but the thing is, it's like Roxanne is one of those people that, you know, it just comes across like super duper nice, and that's why it's kind of like hard to see that transition, see that adjustment to her going to this, you know, like you know, I mean, like just going to this heel mode. But you know what I mean. But you know, but of course, this is certainly far more aggressive. You know, Roxanne Perez feels as though you know, she's deserving of being NXT Women's Champion once again. And you know, and because she lost to Lyra, she's taking out her anger on Brent Sinclair. So after that, we see Josh Briggs versus Brooks Jensen, who were once tag team partners, and you know, so of course, I mean, of course with that, I mean, it's definitely a situation where, you know, things just, you know, just went south and just deteriorated. So now we have a feud between Briggs and Jensen. So the winner of this match is Josh Briggs. Next up, we have JC Jane versus Ariana Grace, and your winner is JC Jane. And so I noticed that she's been tapping into you know, to her heel Shawn Michaels persona herself, much like Carmelo Hayes. And Carmelo is a super hater, super villain, saying that you know, he's a super villain, saying that he allowed Trick's name to come first on Trick and Mello. You know, so, you know, just to make him feel, just to make him feel like, you know, feel like he's doing something basically. And so he's saying that, you know, that Trick is nothing more than a hype man, and you know, like I said, nothing more than that. You know, and he's just talking about how he felt like Trick was jealous of him and his accomplishments and his accolades, and he's always gonna be, you know, like I said, always gonna be nothing more than a hype man, and that's it. But Melo is dead wrong right now, because Trick's momentum, his popularity has been escalating through the roof. You know what I mean? So, but you know, but of course, that's another thing. You know, another time for another day. But of course, back to the action. We see Chase U defeat Nathan Frazier and Axiom in a number of contenders match for the tag team titles. And of course, that same night, we see Chase U step up to the Wolf Dogs and challenge them for the NXT tag team titles. And so now they're officially the number one contenders themselves. And then after that, we see one of my favorite, if not my favorite, women's wrestler on NXT right now, the Bougie Bully, Lash Legend, defeat Kalani Jordan. You know, as a matter of fact, I will say that you know, that her and Chikara are definitely my favorite members of Metaphor. They're the main reason why I'm even having any type of interest in that group in the first place, right? So once again, like I said, Lash Legend defeats Kalani Jordan, and tonight Lash pulled double duty, because in the main event for the NXT Women's Championship, you know, between Live Victoria and Shotzi, somewhere during the match, Shotzi had sustained an injury, and so bad to the point where she could no longer compete in the rest of the match. Out of nowhere, surprisingly, out comes Lash Legend. Yes. And Lash put on a great fight, a tremendous fight. Unfortunately, however, your winner and still the NXT Women's Champion is Lyra Valkyria. But yeah, you know, like I said, when it came to this NXT, it was very solid. And of course, it's like a bookend. So in the beginning, the beginning of the night, we see a black wrestler hold on to his title, and then at the end we see a black wrestler lose in a title match. So it's like very, very fitting how that turned out. But other than that, with NXT, like I said, I'm always impressed anyway, because I always support HBK's vision. You know what I mean? And of course, I certainly trust. Hold on, let me see. I'm going to the comments here. All right, well, who that is? Yeah, like I said, of course, I appreciate it. Appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching. You know what I mean? And of course, for those that are going to listen to listen on the playback. Thank you very much for listening as well, just for future reference. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I said, NXT, what it was what it was, and so also, I definitely want to go into my Elimination Chamber predictions. So, pull up the card. Come on now. I don't know if I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I doubt I'm definitely not going to be getting up at 5 a.m. Just for the sake of the Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber, excuse me. Like I said, just because it's out in Australia. Now I'm not doing that. Because I'm just letting you know right now. If anything, I will. I'll watch the playback on Peacock, so I'm not really missing anything. As a matter of fact, the Elimination Chamber takes place in Perth, Australia, this Saturday, February 24th. So, so of course on the card, we have the men's Elimination Chamber match. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton versus Bobby Lashley versus LA Knight versus Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. So those are participants. Participants for the men's Elimination Chamber match. Then, when it comes to the women, we have Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Liv Morgan versus Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi versus Raquel Rodriguez in the Elimination Chamber match for women. Side note: when it comes to women, there were reports about Jay Cargill being pulled from the Elimination Chamber. I don't know how much of that is true, whatever the case may be. But like the things like Jay's saying is like whenever she's ready, pretty much like whenever she's ready, she will be ready. Whenever it's time for Triple H to unleash Jay, he will do it at the perfect time, at the point in time, just like he did at the Royal Rumble. But yeah, like I said, other than that, of course we have the EST Bianca Belair, we have the man Becky Lynch, we have Liv Boogie Morgan, we have Tiffany Time himself, Tiffany Stratton, we have Naomi, and we have once again we have Raquel Rodriguez, and so those are participants for the women's Elimination Chamber match, and then when it comes to the women's World Championship match, it's like, come on, I wish that this would have been held off for WrestleMania, but it's like whatever, I might as well mention it. Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the women's World Championship. Then we have Undisputed Tag Team Championships, the Judgment Day. Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus the British Strong Style, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Almost said British Bulldogs, but yeah, British Strong Style. So of course we have Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. So obviously Pete Dunne can use his name again. But yeah, like I said, when it comes to that, actually get my predictions, but might as well. When it comes to the men's elimination chamber, I'm leaning towards Randy Orton just because I want to see him have a match at WrestleMania. But there's a part of me that is, at the end of the day, leaning towards Drew McIntyre to win the whole thing. If I'm being honest. When it comes to the women's elimination chamber, this is going to be a dicey one. I'm looking at the EST Bianca Belair to win this one. As far as the Women's World Championship, I'm going for Nia. But I'm thinking, as much as I like Nia, I'm thinking that Becky's going to, not Becky, but I think that Rhea is going to retain. Especially, especially with her going to WrestleMania and the road that she's taking. I could definitely see Rhea find a way to retain, unfortunately. Then, of course, we have the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Your winners, in my estimation, would be the Judgment Day. And then, also, another thing I meant to also another thing I meant to add is that at Elimination Chamber, because in Australia you have Cody Rhodes and World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins appear on the Grayson Waller effect. Because of the fact that Grayson Waller is from Australia, it only makes sense for him to be there because he's a representative. But yeah, but if anything, I'm hooked. I am heavily invested in what this Elimination Chamber is going to look like. Even though we don't have the Great One and the Tribal Chief on the show, but with that, like I said, I certainly believe that this Elimination Chamber match, let me slow down, is going to find a way to exceed expectations. But yeah, so as far, and then of course, sorry about that. Like I said, as far as that, and also I want to go into real quick. I want to go into to this All-Star game weekend. Which is like, what else is there to say about the All-Star game other than it has taken a nosedive? I didn't even bother to watch, the other events. I didn't even bother entertain it. From the slam dunk contest. I heard the three-point contest. Was pretty good. I didn't even watch the skill challenge and the celebrity stuff. I just mainly zoomed to the game itself. But it's just like, ugh. This game has deteriorated so much, to the point where the most points are now 211 points. Can you imagine a basketball game going to 200 points? Like, are you for real? I don't even go to 200 points on a video game. I don't think I've ever even gone to 200 points on live. I certainly have not done that on 2K. But it's just a state of where the NBA is. These players' mindsets, their attitudes. Like, they clearly do not care. Anytime you have legends like Larry Bird and Dr. J having to, having to give a pep, having to give like a, speech about the importance of the All-Star game and just, like I said, just giving them a lecture. Anytime you have guys like that giving these players a lecture, and clearly they ignored it, right? Giving them a lecture about the All-Star game, that's an issue in of itself. You know what I mean? Like, for those that may ask about it, clearly you did not miss much at all. And of course, Damian Lillard won the All-Star Game MVP. We like to only to be met with boos, but yeah, it's just like, I get it that that you want to try something new when it comes to going to a place like Indiana. I guess because of the Indy 500. And just to diversify and show the city's love. All right, I get it. But come on now. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that and Utah are two places that have, you know, the least the least amount of cool legendary players. You know what I mean? Like they like neither one of those places have really cool legends. You know what I mean? Like or any type of spectacular environment or atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like for people to really uh, feel comfortable about being at All Star Weekend, right? You know, Utah was ridiculous last year, and you already know people already know how I feel about Carl Malone, but that's another story. Like you know what I mean, like, but like I said, Utah was toxic to be there, and then Indiana was, another another thing altogether, right? Anytime you score that many points, and just clearly have no desire to play defense whatsoever. It's just like super lackluster. It's just like it's insane. It's ridiculous, and that just continues to fuel the criticism that so many you know old school fans have of the game now. It's just like this is a capsulation of how so many fans feel about today's game. And if we're to spill out into the All-Star game, I'm like, ugh, it's that's not cool at all whatsoever. But yeah, you know what I mean. So of course we go from like I said, go from a great Super Bowl, like I said, weekend before, and then we have this All Star weekend to just lay an egg, pretty much. You know what I mean? It's just like it's pretty much a tale of two weekends. Of course, once again, congratulations to the Chiefs. To the Chiefs win the Super Bowl back to back. Even though I would not have voted Travis Kelce to be athlete of the year for the People's Choice Awards. He wasn't even the best player on his team, let alone in the world. But that's another story for another day. But yeah, you know what I mean. Like I said, when it comes to this All-Star game, I was not impressed. I was not in the mood whatsoever. Yeah, and I'm just waiting for it to come back to DC. Plain and simple. So like I said, so if anything, that those are my recaps. And also, let me see another thing. Also, let me see something. Also, I've been getting more news, more reveals about about WWE 2K24 when it comes to that. Of course, there's like more names being revealed. The ratings are being revealed as well. And so yeah, you know what I mean. Like I said, I know that, and also the game has a release date March 8th, and so I know that we're going to be in for a wild ride on March 8th. You know what I mean. And another thing I also wanted to mention. Let me see. As a matter of fact, showcase of the Morals full match listing. So I'm looking at SmackDownHotel.com, which is pretty much like the ultimate authority when it comes to WWE video games. They're the ones, like the first ones to break news about stuff, whether it's the roster, whether it's the ratings. You know what I mean? Like, all those type of things. Even Sports Illustrated is talking about 2K24, all showcase matches confirmed so far. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. Which is, video games at sportsillustrated.com. Yeah, you made it anytime Sports Illustrated covers it. Matter of fact. Let's see. Sorry about the silence. For showcase matches. And speaking of 2K24, I know that Jimmy Uso was definitely in his feelings about Jay having a higher rating than him once again on the game. Jay gets another 90, and Jimmy gets hit with an 84. So it's obviously a major point of attention. And but yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just like, trying to retrieve this list of the full matches. Uh, but I do know that obviously it starts off with WrestleMania 3 week, where we have Steamboat versus Savage, Hogan versus Andre. Apparently, they're going to have Rick Rude versus Ultimate Warrior. Um, And also one of the things that you know, obviously I'm seeing something where with the announcement of the 2K24 showcase matches, there's a glaring omission from that list, and it's Triple H. It's absent from the lineup so far. Hopefully they're going to put a Triple H match in there. Why he's not featured in the 40 years of WrestleMania, I have no idea why. Um, but I guess it's possible that showcase more recent WrestleMania, but that's not even an excuse because they have, like I said, former and current WrestleMania. So it's just like Triple H. If anything, if there's any type of Triple H matches, that would include obviously would be WrestleMania 28 versus Undertaker, WrestleMania 27 versus Taker, was WrestleMania 21 versus Batista. This guy has a catalog. WrestleMania matches. But of course, here's 18 out of the 21 matches announced so far. And of course, we have the Intercontinental Championship match, Macho Man Randy Savage with Miss Elizabeth versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat with George Animal Steel at WrestleMania 3. Then we have the WWF Championship match with Terry versus Andre, Bobby Heenan from WrestleMania 3. Of course, we also have matches from WrestleMania 5 with Ultimate Warrior versus Rick Rude for the Intercontinental title. We have the Mega Powers Explode match from WrestleMania 5. I knew that was going to be on there. WrestleMania 6, Terry versus the Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, for the WWF Championship. And then, of course, we have WrestleMania 8. Completely skip WrestleMania 7 altogether with Savage versus Warrior. Skip that one altogether. So, of course, WrestleMania 8, we have Piper versus Bret Hart for the Intercontinental title. Great match. I'm glad they include that. And, of course, we have the ladder for WrestleMania 10, we have the ladder match for the Intercontinental title. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. Then at WrestleMania 13, skipped all the way to WrestleMania 13, submission match with Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then after that, we have, so of course they skipped 14 altogether and 15. But anyway, of course, then we go all the way to WrestleMania 17. Of course, no DQ match for the WWF Championship, The Rock versus Stone Cold Part 2. And that's going to be very fascinating considering who is involved in the match. And of course, we also have the other the WWE Championship match from WrestleMania 20, Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle. Safe move right there. We also have Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. Kind of surprised they don't have Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels versus WrestleMania 21, but whatever. Anyway, like I said, WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. They finally put that match in the game. WrestleMania 31, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. That's when Orton reversed the curb stomp into an RKO. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you gotta have that. You gotta have that in the game. I'm glad that I was finally able to find out how to do a catching finisher. So I was finally able to do a catching RKO finisher on 2K23. Proud of myself. Of course, we have the triple threat match for Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship from WrestleMania 35. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. WrestleMania 36, the Firefly Funhouse match. The Fiend Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, versus John Cena. Then we have the No Holds Barred match from WrestleMania 38. Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then, of course, at WrestleMania 39, Night 1. From Night 1 of WrestleMania 39, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship with Charlotte versus Rhea. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Then Night 2, we have two Night 2 matches. We have Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship from WrestleMania 39. And then we have the undisputed WWE Universal title match, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. So those are your matches that have been confirmed thus far. You know what I mean? So of course, as far as that, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's definitely going to be very fascinating when once March 8th hits, and I know it's not going to disappoint whatsoever. But yeah, like I said, that is my recap of this weekend wrestling and other things, miscellaneous news, whatsoever else you want to call it. But of course, thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast. Of course, this show's King Von Jr. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great night.